Dueling Dialogues presents His and Hers with Grace Matthews, Caddyman, and Connor Murphy.
Welcome to episode 23 of His and Hers with Grace Matthews and the Caddyman in the heart of the USA, Springfield, Missouri. Hi, you two.
Hi.
Hey.
How goes it?
Great. It's good to be back here with you.
Yes.
Our numbers are going up every week. That
Good.
makes me happy. And again, I just like to say thanks to all of our good friends in India.
Yeah, cool.
It's pretty great. We've been doing this show, this His and Hers for about 5 months now, about 5.5.
Wow, that's gone fast.
It really has. We started it over COVID lockdown.
Right.
But it had been in the works for a few months before that. So it's really great. I enjoy it. And, we're doing this kind of 12-part series on things that we can do that are therapy for our mental health, for mental illness, for fun. In these times, it's easy to get a little depressed, a whole lot depressed.
Right.
These are, exercises or projects we've used.
Activities.
Very good, yeah, that we have used. We're not doctors. I want to make sure this is just what has worked for us. It should never be used in lieu of a therapist or medication. But these are things that work.
Right.
They've worked for us. And today, we're talking about cooking as therapy. Last week, we talked about yoga as therapy. This week is cooking as therapy.
Cool. I love that.
And we love cooking. And so our thought for the week is cooking healthy meals. And I'm going to add, even unhealthy meals sometimes, is an act of love for myself and those I cook for.
Yeah, I like that.
Absolutely. And, we're going to talk about cooking and food in a way that if you go get takeout, it's just not the same.
Right.
Cooking first and foremost encourages creativity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, successes and failures in the kitchen produce some amazing things.
Yeah, and being confident enough to experiment with different things is a good way to look at it too. Get your confidence up and just go for it.
Exactly. And speaking of confidence, cooking is immediate gratification.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless it's soup, because you got to wait a couple of hours.
Yeah, you do. But it's better than a couple of weeks or a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Heck, I've waited a couple of decades for some things. But, it can be pretty immediate gratification and very rewarding.
Absolutely.
Of course, not everything turns out perfect.
Right.
Okay, but we don't know perfect if we don't know imperfect.
Exactly.
You have to have those two to compare.
Right.
It is great for low self-esteem because it can help build self-esteem.
Plus,
like
it's good. It's good.
It is good. And what brings people together more than cooking and food?
Absolutely. Wine, maybe. Wine.
Well, wine. Yeah, that's true. Cooking, baking, eating, even shopping for the ingredients. It is a socialization. It creates relationships.
Right.
That's why you gotta say cooking is an activity, because it's just not one basic element.
Right.
There is the planning, there is the preparation, there is the create activity. There's all these different things. How do you think these dishes came up in the first place?
Right.
Somebody had to create it.
Exactly.
And then all these other dishes that off a base dish usually that are offsprings of those.
Exactly.
Someone took that dish and expounded upon it or said, hey, What if I do this?
Right. I mean,
And then the togetherness of people cooking and the object of each person's taste buds are different.
oh yeah.
So each person is going to taste every food differently. And some are going to like some better than others. Some thinks, oh, how many times have you have someone, your mother, said, hey, taste this? and you say, I think it needs a little salt.
That's the classic.
You know,
one.
I mean,
Yeah.
if that's not something that almost happens with every dish ever created, I don't know what is. But
Yeah.
it just goes to show you it can be like a sport where you go through the whole procedure, you play the game of finishing the meal or the dish, and if it's a winner, it's a winner.
Okay, I got a question for you. If the recipe calls for 1 tablespoon, do you actually measure the 1 tablespoon? Like, I don't mean baking, because baking is a science.
Yeah,
And
baking is a science.
Your measurements got to be on for baking. But I'm talking about, like, I don't know, chili. And it calls for a tablespoon of chili. Do you actually measure the tablespoon, or you just take the top off and sprinkle it on?
Absolutely, I don't measure it, but I have
I
a
knew
little
it.
saying.
I
We
knew
have
it.
a little saying at this house when it's a tablespoon or something akin to a tablespoon. It's "I love money."
Okay.
Okay, that's absolutely how we measure cooking oil
Right. Okay.
and most other things.
Right. It's just like a pinch.
Yeah. Now,
What's a pinch?
Kathy
Yeah.
measures more than I do because she's kind of new to the cooking world, but not me. And I'm pretty sure you don't measure, do you?
No, I don't. So
Yeah.
it makes it really tough when somebody likes something you've done. You go, oh, can I have the recipe? And
Yeah.
it makes it
Oh,
really
yeah.
tough, right? It's
I
like,
get in that trouble all the time.
yeah, because I open the top up and I sploosh it on until I know it's good. Yeah,
But food is nurturing.
absolutely.
I mean, what better way to say all sorts of things than through food?
Right, and that's why family involved with all the holidays.
Exactly. Food is the biggest. I mean, I love Thanksgiving because it's all about the food.
Right. Yeah.
Christmas, you have gifts. Hanukkah, there's gifts. There's all sorts of sidelines, But Thanksgiving, to me, is the best holiday of all because it's all about the food.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And the good thing about Thanksgiving is almost not every, but most of the people get involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they bring their specialty, deviled egg. Or at my house, my one grandmother, she was the professional dressing maker.
Yes.
I mean, that was her job every
I hadn't
Thanksgiving. It
thought
didn't
that
matter. Even if my mom did the cooking, when Grandma came over, she made the dressing, period.
Yeah.
That was just the way it was. And then some people carves the turkey. How many times have you heard that? The head of the house carves the turkey.
Right. Right.
Well, in Canada, Thanksgiving is next Monday.
Exactly. So, as a matter of fact, we were just having the conversation before the podcast on what Thanksgiving was going to look like this year, and we're really not sure yet.
Yeah, we're not sure. Around here, we have so many cases that but we have a little longer to prepare. So I'm hoping Thanksgiving can go on as normal.
Right.
But and just like we're talking about Thanksgiving, cooking and food can improve the quality of your life.
Absolutely.
It can be something you look forward to.
And I do.
And you know what? Cooking and preparing food at home saves money. Lots of money.
Absolutely, positively.
I mean, the amount of money that most people have told me that they have saved during COVID because they're not eating out as much.
Right.
The guy that does my hair, he told me him and his partner had saved thousands.
Right.
That's a lot of eating out. I don't think we do that much.
And I want to throw this in, even though it's not food. Do you know how much money you save on alcohol?
Oh, yeah.
Because
you're drinking the alcohol at home with your food.
Almost everybody thinks when they go out, that's a special time to eat. They have 1, maybe 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Or, well, you kind of have 1 or 2 before you get to the 3 or 4. But you can have one hell of a bar bill.
Yeah.
In our younger days, we have.
Yes, we
don't do
yes,
that
we did.
bad anymore. But
we had those triple digits.
yeah, we have had those. Not only does it save money, it saves calories. Do you know how much they load things up with butter and stuff and sour cream?
Yes. Yeah, it definitely.
And you can make things, like I said, we're all about making things gluten-free in this house. So we convert recipes, which is kind of a challenge and kind of fun. But we also do make lower sodium, lower sugar. Last night I made a Hungarian mushroom soup. Now, normally a Hungarian mushroom soup would have sour cream in it, right?
Right.
Well, I finagled around and didn't put the sour cream in. That saves a load of calories.
Yeah, absolutely. You can use yogurt too.
And it tastes great. Yeah, I do use yogurt a lot.
Yeah.
So, but cooking can also, and I know Caddyman's got a lot to say about this. It can be competitive like a sport, And when you watch some of these competitions and you can get into lots of competitions. You can make it competitive within the house. I mean, my boys know how to cook. When everybody's here, it is a competition to see who's going to make what. So,
right on.
I can add that I am fully aware I am the worst cook in the house. I am number 5, and I am proud of it. Now, when it comes to grilling, I don't count grilling and cooking the same, because all you're doing is throwing the meat on, and it's more of a time sensitive, and you just kind of watch it. I mean, there is a little bit of skill, but not like actually taking a meal or a dish and taking it from start to finish.
Right.
And the good thing that I like about cooking, I'm going to bring up a couple of things here. As like I said earlier, you go from start to finish, beginning, middle, end. And then you are graded by how it tastes. You have a or it's not bad, or hey, babe, that's a winner. You hit a home run. So that is always good. And then I'm going to be the first to admit, since I am learning how to cook, and if people want to watch my videos, you'll see why. I need to learn because I am terrible. Watching the cooking shows like Chopped, or we watch
Bobby Flay.
Beat Bobby Flay, and we've watched Guy's show,
Right.
shopping in the supermarket, and they cook. At first, I thought, before I really watched these,
and we did not start watching these till COVID.
Right. And you couldn't have got me to sit through one of those unless you put a gun to my head and gave me lots of alcohol. Maybe both, maybe at the same time, I'm not sure. But anyway, these guys flat work their ass off trying to fix these meals in this certain amount of time. And if you don't think that it's hard, just go make a grilled cheese sandwich and from beginning to end and see how long it takes you.
Yeah, and these guys do amazing things in 20 minutes.
And how they blend these things, or you're given these different things and you've got to make a meal out of it, or you've got something so sweet. It's just like a sport. You have to have a plan of attack. Mm-hmm. You have to have the experience to know what goes with what, with how to mix with what. Being new into that marketplace or that area of expertise, I'm amazed at people that they'll show it, they'll bring up, they'll say we're going to use black zucchini or black noodles, and these guys go, I remember the time that I fixed a meal with that, and it's very. And you go, what?
Yeah.
What?
Or pig's blood.
Yeah, pig's blood. The other day was some sort of beef, something with beef liver, and
No, thanks.
And it was like you're going.
Oh, please.
But it's amazing how it is like a sport. It is, and the amount of feeling of success you have when you do make a great dish, and your partner or someone says, like my wife's. Every now and then I do something well, and she says, "Good job." That it is rewarding. It is like a sport. You won.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the flow in the kitchen. As you do it, it's calming.
Right. There's a zen to it.
Especially baking. There is a zen. It is very similar to yoga, or like what they talk about. Walking meditation,
right?
Because you're just going through the flow, and it's awesome. It's like playing in a sandbox place,
right?
You got the dough, you got the different textures, the different feels, and you really do have to use your brain. And a lot of people, when they get older, they're not using their brain that much. Keep cooking. It's healthy. It staves off dementia.
Well, this is a subject that's very close to my heart. Food has been a big part of my family, all my entire life, and my mom collected recipes for 95 years. And when she recently passed away, my sister and I have compiled all our recipes, and we are putting out a cookbook. So it has been a lot of, some of the instructions were kind of iffy or whatever, but trying to make those meals, because not all the instructions were there for a lot of the recipes, because my mom didn't measure anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, we've gone through and refined a lot of them. And then, of course, we're taking pictures of them. So this has been a big part of my life, especially through COVID.
But what a great way to cope with the loss of your mother. The fact that you and your siblings got together and you did something constructive in her honor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been therapy on steroids.
Absolutely.
And to top it off, we're just about ready, probably publishing in the next month or so.
Just in time for the holiday.
Yeah, and we're doing it all for charity. And my mom's charities that she worked for, some of them since the beginning of the 70s,
Wow.
So we want to keep her charities happy and keep her memory alive by, honoring what she volunteered for and what she loved, and see those organizations profit from her love. So, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. My fault.
I am done.
I was just going to say, and I know you feel the same way, Connor. And I know Grace does. When you make someone's recipe, normally it was their best, something they really loved, something they thought they were really good at. What greater form of flattery than to copy their recipe? And then also, I know when we have done it from our parents, we've copied recipes, and you taste it, and it's almost like they're there with you. And usually food is full of good memories, happy times.
Food invokes memories.
And it brings you back, and it's kind of a happy, and it's almost like, especially if they're deceased, like they're there with you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. A neat thing is my mom referred to recipes by who she got the recipe from. So their first name or last name and their dough recipe or whatever.
It was a piece of that person to her.
Absolutely. So we
It was
made
a
sure that,
part.
we made sure that we put down everybody's name that contributed to the book, and we have a special thank you going out to them for, sharing the love with my mom. So, it's been therapy, very, very good therapy. If you've, recently lost a parent or something, do something like this. It's really good therapy.
Absolutely. And, one of the most therapeutic parts of cooking is the mindfulness, much like we talked about last week with yoga, much like I think that Katie Man talked about with the yogi, the guru, Sadhguru.
Right.
It's mindfulness. You are in the moment.
Right.
You are paying attention. Sometimes kind of like you talked about with soup, you got to have patience.
Yeah, exactly.
We all need more patience.
And I'm going to throw this out because I have learned this by watching Bobby Flay.
Yeah, there you
They
go.
always say he's the master of taste.
Yeah, he has the flavor.
So you can't tell me that he's not one with a lot of foods.
Oh,
where
absolutely.
his body not only tastes it, his mind can see it, it can feel it. I mean, all of his senses are into that particular food, that particular meal, that particular dish that he's making. And that's why he's considered the greatest at that.
Yes, he's one of the Iron Chefs, and he's one of the greatest. It also eases stress and improves your mood.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day, it creates happiness.
You bet.
And experts have actually studied, and I'm talking in psych, these psychologists have studied, and they say it does relieve symptoms of depression.
I believe it.
I do too.
It's very similar to meditation and yoga. They say, in particular, and you will love this because I do, slicing and dicing soothes the mind and the soul.
There you go.
Now, when I'm upset about something or stressed, you better believe we're going to have something that has everything in the kitchen diced in it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a dicing machine.
She is.
I mean, I look like Bobby Flay when I'm dicing.
I'm more of a hatchet man myself.
Yeah. And like we talked about earlier, cooking invokes the senses. And that, when you invoke the senses, smell, taste, texture, all the other things, you invoke memories,
Right.
You
Absolutely.
invoke memories from your childhood, from people, A lot of times I do remember people or getting together with people by what I served.
Right.
Or certain dishes, like we make fried spaghetti. It always reminds me of my brother because he loved it so much.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
so, different. I remember I don't like carrot cake, and it reminds me of my grandmother I wasn't that close to. And she made carrot cake all the time. So it can go both ways. And like I said, it's like playtime, especially if you're baking and you're mixing with dough or you're stirring. It's like playing as a child.
Right.
And we know those are good. It's sexy.
Yes.
Cooking can be very sexy. It's one of the sexiest things you could do. Food porn. When I took one of my psychology classes, the instructor said one day, we're going to watch a film today, and it's going to be pornography. And we're all like, really? We're all going to sit here together and watch food porn? Or we're going to watch porn? It was just these people having dinner. They were fully clothed. Let me tell you, it was erotic. They made the food. They laid out the food. It was crazy. Also, when you're doing food, you get to make choices. Now, some people feel like they don't have a lot of choices left in their life. Older people, or maybe sometimes children don't think they have the ability to make choices for darn good reason. But, food is a way that they can't make choices.
Yeah, do
And
I add
that could be
cayenne
therapy.
pepper or don't I?
Exactly. And for some people, that's a big deal. And it's like you said too, it's scientific. I taught my kids a lot of math by cooking.
Ah, yeah, I
You
could see
can
that.
also know how different, ingredients interact together.
Absolutely. When my granddaughters come to stay, the first thing the oldest one does is make a menu, and then we got to go shopping because we're going to cook it together. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's great, and I hope when she grows up, she'll remember cooking with Grandma and Grandpa in the kitchen. And,
For sure. And, and that's a time when my kids now, they've got their phones and stuff. And of course, they're all grown up. But when we start cooking in the kitchen, when my oldest son comes, nobody's got their phone in there.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's that moment when we get to slow down and focus on the food and the family.
Right.
And, when people eat good food, they appreciate it.
Yeah, if you're not a good cook, I've got a hint. Get a slow cooker. Try some slow cooker meals.
Absolutely. I got an Instant Pot. You told me to get last year. So
Right.
I can't wait to try it this winter for soup. I haven't really used it yet, so.
Yeah, there's a few neat items there's a Food Ninja or a Ninja oven, I think they call it. It's
Yeah.
It does everything from slow cooking to pressure cooking to air frying. It's all in one.
Right. I love the air fryer too.
Yeah.
Great appliance. Get it. Cooking food, it connects us. Remember, the heart of the home is in the kitchen.
Right.
Get cooking. Connor will talk more on this show about the cookbook, his mom's cookbook, when it comes out. Go to Caddyman417 and watch on YouTube. Watch Caddyman Learn to Cook. It's hilarious.
Okay.
But remember, cooking can be so much more than throwing something together and eating it. Also, I want to point out that when you cook and you eat more mindfully, you eat less.
Right.
You eat with a purpose.
Well,
You eat good food that you like, and it's amazing what it does for you.
let me ask Caddyman this, because this is how I am. I cook a big meal, and by the time I sit down to eat the meal, I'm not hungry anymore because I've been tasting all day long. Does that happen to you too?
Oh yeah, yeah. And also the thing about good food, I mean really good tasting food, fills you up because you're enjoying every bite.
You're slowing down.
If it's crappy junk, you're shoveling it in till you just say, I can't eat another bite. But how many times have you had a really, really delicious meal or a particular dish that you want to eat more because the taste is so great, but you're just, I can't do it.
You're right.
But I would love to do it. And also, it seems like to me, and I'm going to throw this out, and it's probably just a personal opinion, the better the food, the better the leftovers.
That's a good one.
You
Yeah.
always leave leftovers.
Yeah. So that's great. And do you have some TV shows for
I
us
sure
today?
do.
Okay.
Today we're going to do some oldies but goodies. Some people I know haven't seen some of these, and it's kind of hard to believe, but
Probably it will be us.
yeah, well, one of probably the biggest shows out there, I think, or the biggest hype shows of the past was Sons of Anarchy. Have you guys seen that?
No, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's on FX, Fox, Bravo, Netflix, Spike, Super Channel, Walt Disney Television. It's everywhere now because the series is over. So you can probably find a marathon going somewhere. But it's basically a crime drama thriller, and it's about a bike gang, essentially. So it's a good one. Lots of women like watching that show for some reason. Don't know why. And
Interesting.
we've got another documentary this week, Making of a Murderer, and it's on Netflix. It's a documentary about crime. It's filmed over 10 years with a guy called Stephen Avery, who did time, 18 years, I believe, for murder, and then was exonerated because of DNA results. And then when they tried to basically open people's eyes to how he got screwed over by law enforcement, he gets charged with another murder. So it's going to make you mad. It'll make you real mad. So, but really, really well done documentary. So that's a good one to watch for.
Wow.
One of the darker shows of the past was a show named Dexter, and that's on Fox, CBS, CTV, Netflix, Paramount, and Universal. And Dexter is a blood spatter analyst for the Miami police, and he's also a serial killer, but he just kills bad guys.
Oh, wow. So it's sort of a vigilante.
That's okay then.
Yes, and it stars Michael C. Hall, Jennifer Carpenter, so it's got some big stars in it. One of the favorites of mine on this list was a show called Deadwood, and it's a Western, essentially, on HBO, Sky, Paramount, and Universal. It stars Timothy Olyphant, and it's a show set in the 1800s around the characters of Deadwood, South Dakota. And it's you'll get hooked on that one if you haven't seen Deadwood yet. Have you guys seen that one?
I like Western. No, I haven't.
Oh,
I do like Westerns. Yeah.
The last one that we're going to profile today is another one that ended in 2017. It was called Narcos on Netflix. So it's a biography crime drama about the criminal exploits of Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar. Oh. So all the kind of dealings that were going on with the CIA and all of that stuff. It's very interesting. Definitely a good show to watch. Lots of subtitling, unless you speak, Spanish as well. So. Yeah. That's it.
Great mix. Mix.
Yeah, it was a real mix today, actually.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So a little bit of something for everybody.
Absolutely. And I hope everybody enjoyed the show today. We enjoyed bringing it to you. Tempus fugit. Time flies. Use it.
Yes. You guys have...
Move that coffee table.
Yes, you guys have a good weekend and move that coffee table. Yeah, for sure.
You too.
All right. See ya.
Goodbye now. Thanks for listening, everyone.